Do you think social media has made fitness better or worse? For you along the journey since you came into the health and well-being and fitness space, what has been one of the biggest struggles that you've had to get yourself into the next month or the next month?
All the misinformation out there, and people will just jump on social media and read that, and that's it, whether it might not be right. And also, as Ozempic, they're jumping on it. I feel like sometimes that fighting a losing battle.
Everyone wants a short-term fix. Welcome back to the PerformWell podcast. This is the podcast for you if you're looking for performance and wellness optimization so that you can not only smash your career, but also have a better life, better relationships, and better health. We believe that performance and wellness are yin and yang and work together. So listen in as we dive into topics that are going to help you optimize your life for the better. Right, welcome back to the PerformWell podcast. Today we have Dan, as you know, we have Ricky Attfield, a musculoskeletal therapist in Southampton. How are we doing today?
MSK practitioner. Yeah, very well, thank you. Yeah, all good. Nice. The sun is shining, so can't complain. It's all good.
It is a beautiful day for it as well. Actually, Ricky, kind of playing off the starting kind of conversation that we want to start with, you're a very positive man. I've seen your content. I've seen you posting it. You're a very positive, and I like the way that you bring yourself across to everyone that you're speaking to, because I think it's lovely. And I think that's what the fitness industry really needs. It really needs that lift, because a lot of the time you're just getting people say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. But you give a very light-hearted approach. Now, you've had probably a lot of experience over the years. What is your length of experience in the industry? How long have you been working within the fitness industry?
So fitness, health, well-being, I've been doing it for, well, I've started off at uni, and before then doing PT, swimming. So I've always been into my sports. I've always been into my fitness. So this is over 20 years now. I graduated from uni, God, over 20 years, 25 years ago, 20 years ago, something like that. So it's been a while. And I've been practicing as a musculoskeletal practitioner for about 13, 14 years now. With that, strength and conditioning, done a bit of PT, swimming teaching, etc., etc. So quite broad and quite a long period. Yeah, love it.
Did you go to uni?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, which one did you go to?
It was called Southampton Institute. It's Solent University now, so Solent Uni.
Nice, same here. I think you went to Portsmouth.
I went to Portsmouth Uni, yeah.
So we're all sports scientists here.
Yeah, I seem to get a bit of flack for going to Portsmouth Uni. No wonder, though, that I'm in Southampton. It kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Then transferring across. So
you're outnumbered for once, Dan.
I'm always outnumbered. I'm never going to get it. Unless you come to Cambridge, I might be all right. So over these years of experience you've had, Ricky, we kind of want to delve into kind of some of the trends that you've seen, some of the newer trends you've seen coming through, and almost like kind of the cycle that's completed in fitness.
Yeah.
Because I think there's been a lot of stuff, even over the last 5 years, that were probably spoken about 15 years ago, and it's all just coming to fruition again to speak about. So how would you compare the health and fitness industry today compared to 5, 10, 15 years ago?
I think there's so much variation there that's out there that people can use. There's all different classes from Zumba to CrossFit, and it's constantly progressing and evolving, and there's more stuff to do. I know 5-10 years ago still had it, but it's just there's always gets a bit overwhelming on what was the right fitness or the right exercise or the right class for me to do. I think that's really been a massive part in the involvement of it. I think that now it's very much an emphasis, especially on the younger generation, on aesthetics, how they look, rather than their health. And fitness is a general term for, not just how you look, but how you feel inside, how much cardiovascular fitness you've got, how you can perform, etc. And I think, the younger generation more so. I think as we get older, we get ailments, we get, conditions and stuff, and we try and keep our health at the top of our fitness sort of thing. So in that sense, I think it has progressed, but there's a lot of emphasis still on the younger generation on aesthetics and how they look.
Do you know what? When I was part of the younger generation, and I say that now because I'm 33 and I think I can qualify for slightly on the aging side.
Nearly mid-late. Not there yet.
Because obviously Ricky's a young 30-year-old himself.
Thank you very much.
So he knows what I'm talking about. But when I was in my early 20s, it was all about aesthetics for me as well. And I think it was, I don't know if this is a young man thing, but for me it was looking as attractive as possible for the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And trying to get the best dates possible. And I remember the likes of Cease. I don't know if you remember Cease, the guy who did the hand thing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So like I was in that era of like the popular aesthetic channels, David Leeds, Jeff Seed. I don't know if you know these guys.
I've heard of them. Just
Yeah.
the names ring a bell.
But it's weird. It's weird, like being on the other side now, starting to see yourself slip over, like to what you said, where you're starting to like see a few more aches and pains than usual. Your health's a little bit more deteriorating than you've probably seen. People your age are, well, just to put it bluntly, dying. You know, more so than you noticed when you were 20s. Like Mitch Hopkins.
Yeah.
Do you know Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sad
Yeah,
that obviously
really
he passed
sad.
away at 33.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That was mental.
And it's like
Sad
I feel like we're now just going through these waves where now we're like the next gen, looking at the early gen, doing exactly what we did, the same mistakes that we made.
Because we did that when, I mean, we all just wanted to look good with our tops off, you know what I mean? It was always the attraction to the opposite sex, or the same sex, depends what you want. But it was all about, let's see ego lifting and lift heavy and, what I look like, rather than, your fitness, your general fitness. So how healthy are you? Can you run up that hill without being out of breath? Or, what's your heart rate like? What's your blood pressure like and stuff like that? But then when you're young, you just don't, that's not a priority for you. It's not a concern. You just kind of like, I'm fine. But mind you, when we're younger, we just bounce and we can recover quicker, and we don't have those things to think about.
I agree. And it is, it's so interesting you saying that, because I feel like with the fitness industry, and more so, I'm 26 myself, and I've noticed within my age range, there is this kind of like almost middle divide. It is aesthetics, where it's what your body can do. That's it. Either people are doing high rocks or they're doing bodybuilding competitions. Yeah. That seems to be like the sway, or they're doing triathlons or marathons or whatever. And there is that sway left and right, but people aren't kind of thinking to themselves, actually, like, as you say, cardiovascular fitness in terms of like blood pressure, people aren't thinking about these indicators that are so vitally important, but people don't seem to want to go and check them to see if actually they are deemed healthy.
Yeah.
And I think, as you said, fitness is a very umbrella term, but fitness at the core is what your body can do, not necessarily how much it looks like. And it is being kind of pulled two ways by the different nuances in the industry, because you have got people wanting to fight to look lovely on Instagram, and you've now got people who want to perform well to look lovely on Instagram. And it's this kind of pull apart that everyone's seeing. And as much as we scroll through and maybe see it for 5-10 seconds, it sticks in our brain and we see this polarization between these two sections, which I find quite interesting. It is tribalism. You're going one of two ways.
The thing is, though, like whatever you train to do, you'll start to see more of that, and you'll start to think that everyone else is doing the same.
Yeah.
But it's your algorithm, isn't it, showing you the things you're interested in. So it's very easy to get caught up thinking that you think everyone is thinking one way, but actually it's not the truth. There's a lot of different sectors, a lot of different things going on. I think over time you start to see patterns, and you start to see how kind of things are going. But like hybrid athleticism is something that's been coined recently in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Which is like the crossover between the two.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are sick of stuck in one hierarchy of like looking good or feeling good, and they want a bit of both.
I think that's like going back to your question sort of thing. I think that's those variations of those different sort of exercises and fitness classes you can do and stuff. I think people are moving towards that, which is more, if you think what it involves is the whole fitness, globally fitness criteria there, rather than just going to the gym and lifting weights. What do? I'm just a runner, I'm just a weightlifter, I just want to get bigger. So I think it's a positive thing that there's so many more variations in what we can do and where we can go, and to generally help with our fitness. So yeah.
No, I agree. And I think it's inclusivity at the end, because what we're looking at as professionals in the space, we want as many people looking after their health and well-being as we can. And if these outlets are for it, like I'm all for Zumba, 100% go to a Zumba class. And what really grinds my gears is when people on social media talk down to those people that are like in a bungee fitness class. I prefer them doing bungee fitness to banging back 6-bag of Doritos on the sofa. Yeah. I'd prefer them doing it. Yeah, you can be doing other things that might be more efficient. But when we talk about actually getting people into activity, I think that's such a lovely way that we have all these outlets. You see drum classes now, like fitness drum classes. Fitness drum classes. Really? Yeah.
I mean, I've seen some crazy stuff. I don't know if you heard of Gymbox, but Gymbox in London, they're known for like the most crazy classes, and they've done sweat classes where you're like neon bands on you, lights are turned off, like special light on, so you can obviously glow in the dark. And apparently you're supposed to be naked, and you're supposed to like do some belly dancing and shit. And like they do ones where they all hang off a silk off the roof, but not silks, but like a class where they're actually getting taught like with music and stuff to do stuff on silks. It's like what the hell is going on?
It's kind of like,
Wild.
it's great that there's all of these different classes that are getting people active, and I think that's the main thing. I think it's just the person trying to find the next extreme, outlandish, crazy thing to do, which will get a bit of hype, get a bit of social media, get a bit of interest in people. Oh, have you seen that? Should we do that? And yeah, if it works, it works. I mean, like you say, there's lots better things to do.
What do you think? What do you think fitness was like before social media? Like, I know we've got some historical evidence to show what most people probably trained like, but
I think it was a bit more straightforward.
yeah,
It was a bit more simpler. You didn't have as much choice and variation, and that's the new fad, and you've got to do this and do this. I think social media has brought that sort of, whoa, let's do this, or have you tried this, or have you tried that, or like you say, the neon naked
dancing.
Bungee jumping. I mean, there wouldn't have been any, people wouldn't have heard of it, even if it was going on, or wouldn't even know about it. Not necessarily a bad thing, but
I mean, when you were a kid, if you wanted to meet up with one of your friends, you would have to tell them where you're going to be and when. And if they don't turn up, they don't turn up.
Yeah,
You can't text them, can you?
that's it.
Like,
It's the bike outside. Yeah, okay, he's in.
Yeah, exactly. We know where they are. And I think that's, as you said, a key point I want to take note of is that things were simpler. Do you think in a way that things are more complicated for those coming at entry level now?
Yes. I don't think there's enough emphasis on just keeping it simple. Just keep it simple, easy, work on the fundamentals first, and then start building up on that. I think we're just trying to throw too much in. You've got to do this, you've got to do that, you shouldn't do this, you need to take that, take this, take that. When all you've got to do is move a bit more and look after your nutrition a bit more. Start with that, and then let's build on that. But now it's just straight in, I've got to do a marathon, or straight in, I've got to do CrossFit because that's a new thing. You haven't even lifted a weight in your whole life yet. Hold on a minute. Jeez,
and one thing about CrossFit is like it's not even the new thing anymore as well, and like it still feels like the new thing, but it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, CrossFit's old now.
It's been around for quite a few years,
High
hasn't it?
Rocks is probably the most recent. I'd say.
The most recent, kind of thing that's similar to it, but you say that to someone who does CrossFit, they're probably like, that's
High
not
Rocks is
it.
going to get boring soon because you're just doing the same workout.
That's where they'll bring out new. What High Rocks have done, they've now got My Protein sponsorships and stuff like that too. Now, I argue some ways a lot of the fitness industry is now dictated by the sponsorships that can be taken upon them. Let's be honest. Like High Rocks now is My Protein sponsorship, one of the biggest supplement companies in the world. And they will keep going because My Protein are going to be like, we're going to pay you this money, so you have to keep going now. Yeah. And they will find something. They'll find another way. They'll alter the High Roxes. But I think it's because a lot of people are going and doing them in various different countries.
It's the next CrossFit, I promise you.
It basically is, isn't it?
They'll bring out. I mean, they already do WODs for like workouts. They'll start bringing out WODs for like actual competitions. Yeah. And then it'll just be a full circle. And then the next thing will come out.
It will just keep cycling round. Now, Ricky, we kind of came on to the point a little bit. We'll go back onto the social media side just a little bit. Do you think social media has made fitness better or worse?
I think it's made it more abundant out there. There's more, people can just go on social media to look at fitness or an exercise or what to do. It might give them motivation and inspiration. They see people and stuff, but also on the fact of we always compare, especially the younger generation. I know I keep going back there, but we all do it. We compare ourselves to them. They're doing it. Look how good they look. I want to do what's going on for them. And they might be totally different body type. They might, whatever works for them. We don't know what they're doing behind all their fitness stuff. And in that sense, it's kind of like, stop comparing yourselves to other people. Stop trying to just go with the latest trend that's on social media, and maybe just stick with the stuff that works and works for you. I think it's got pros and cons.
Yeah, I think it does actually give a lot of kind of flexibility to people in terms of like understanding stuff. But one of my biggest arguments is that a lot of the content that you see on social media is less actionable. People aren't doing what they watch. They just watch it for a dopamine hit.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the rise of social media and you look at obesity rates, obesity is still climbing.
Yeah.
So social media hasn't affected it in the sense of people losing more weight.
No. Yeah.
But then again, social media also has lots of food pages as well. And the amount of food you see on social media is insane.
I think a lot of people do the fitness stuff on there is more as well. There's not everyone, because we can't be sort of generic to everybody. We can't label everyone in the same, but a lot of people are on there to be on social media. Look what I can do. This is great. Look how good I look. And a lot of people you don't really see any fitness influencers out there who just come up with their baggy tracksuit bottoms and their t-shirt. Everything's tucked in. They've got the latest leggings on, or matey's looking ripped with his singlet on. That's the best for people that don't know. And everything's sure, look at that ass, or look at those abs. And you just think,
I mean, the amount of time, not everyone, as you say, but like the majority of women that I see post, for example, is always the arse, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like right in your face, and it's
biceps. Look at what. I can't even see you.
Yeah, I can't even see. See what's going on.
Guys that say, "Oh, I did back day," and it's just their arse in the face, and then it's the guys also doing the same thing, like looking in a mirror, tensing as if they're like looking at someone.
And I think that's because there's such an emphasis on social media. Like if we take, for instance, women and their glutes, their ass, their glutes. There's such an emphasis now on women's glutes, all the leggings, the shorts are all, to help them, make them look really good. Women have BBLs and stuff like that. So there's a massive emphasis. So it's constantly out there for everybody. So in a sense, like that's what they're hooking on that. They're playing on that.
Sex sells. It comes that, like, I don't think humans have really changed. Like, I think we're just going through cycles of like we're always trying to be as attractive as possible to try and get that sex appeal, and like sex is always going to sell to some degree in a lot of things that you see. But unfortunately, it's the social media channels that allow it. They're allowing this kind of like, there's the lines getting more blurred between what's pornography these days and what is actually allowable, clothing. And
Agreed.
It's crazy.
It's tough as well, because you see a lot of people have favourite influencers out there. And I said the term when we were on Voice FM the other week, I said favourite influencers, because they spread like wildfire. And you find them about everywhere. And it is like fitness influencers, I don't class any of us as influencers. We have an influence, but I wouldn't put myself down as an influencer. I'm looking to make a positive change and solve people's problems. That's what I'm here to do. And I think the coining of people coming in and working, I've said to you before, one of the biggest things that aggravates me in this world is someone just gets in good shape and become a coach now. There's no jurisdiction to say you've got a PT qualification, you've got XYZ under your belt. Cool, I love that. You got a degree? Cool. That means for you, I know you're qualified, you can do the job. Nope, you're in great shape. You just put DM me coaching in your bio.
You could be 18 years old, genetically blessed, parents that are obviously at least financially well off enough that you've got a nice camera set up, nice lighting, etc. You go to the gym, you post like this is how I got it, I can show you how to do it. And everyone gets sucked into selling it. And it's like, just because you know how to train yourself doesn't mean you know how to train someone potentially older or with other problems that's going on, or potentially people that are not genetically gifted like you are. And it's difficult. It is difficult.
That's the other thing, isn't it? When you've got the genes already, you might not look ripped, or
I've got the genes.
You Levi's, but you know what I mean. You look relatively good, and it might be from the genes from generations, or the fact that you were very sporty from a young age. You kept that up. That's pretty much the same with me. But then these guys, some of them, haven't got to where they are. They've trained, obviously, to get themselves better, but some people just don't have that. And it's going to be a lot harder for them to get into the position that they're seeing these other influencers in, from just going to the gym and just eating a bit better.
Yeah.
They'd either have to do some drastic changes, start going on a sort of a bodybuilding pathway. As you know, it's quite a lot and very intense. But yeah.
And don't even get me started on the myths, like the thing that people are like telling people to do. It's like, it's ridiculous. Like carnivore diet, for example. We got a bit of shit for a carnivore diet, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Because we were just saying like, I mean, it's been proven that fruit, veg, fiber is good for the body. It's good for your gut health, etc. to get rid of that and to watch your gut health just completely deteriorate and say that it's okay to have eggs and liver and raw meat every day is just bullshit.
Yeah.
It destroys people's health.
And it's I was looking at this just the other day. I do a lot of like research, and I do a lot of reading more as well. But I do everything is like science-based, published data, And the thing is, we have a lot of people will say, no, I've been doing a carnivore diet for now 6 months, a year now, or I know someone that's done it. But this is a small minority. It's a bit like the old seatbelt thing, do you know what I mean, in a car, where, well, I haven't worn my seatbelt for how many years? I have never had an accident. Okay, so what you're saying is not wearing a seatbelt is safe? No, it isn't. We know wearing a seatbelt saves lives and it's safe, and it's a small minority that will get through. And some people will be absolutely fine, you know. Some people can run for miles and marathons and not do any stretching afterwards. They'll be fine.
Yep.
Some people will run for 5K and they'll be broken. They just can't hack it.
I mean, to be fair, like based on what you said, your job is at the moment. This is actually quite interesting because there are people that get injured a lot, like just like that.
Yeah.
I've trained people that just get injured all the time for no reason. They'll do exactly the same program as someone else, maybe some slight deviations for them, and they're just injured all the time, or someone else is completely fine.
Get it? Loads of injuries, all walks of life, from sporting, elite athletes to just everyday, office working. Obviously, you see it more when there's people that have just suddenly decided to go for a run and they're going to do some runs and they've done no exercise or fitness beforehand, or just from generally I've had people when they've done a gym session, a weighted session, a heavy weight session, and then they've gone to do their shoelace up or something like that. And they ask me, why is it done? Or why have I injured it? Or why has this happened? And there's so many variables of why it could happen, from your food, your sleep, your stress. And this is the things that we have to deal with, or we uncover first and we go through before we've even looked at what else is going on. Okay, how's your sleep been? I've been really stressed at work, so I'm not sleeping very well. That could be a contributor, Your muscles are not ready for it or whatever. So there's loads of stuff to go through. But yeah, part of the fitness journey.
Yeah.
Part of that line that never goes like that.
Yeah,
just like
it's just
this.
everywhere.
When everyone starts a fitness journey for the first time, I say to them, like, you're going to be more achy going forward and potentially have a few niggles in the next couple of months, years, etc. But you're going to be better off for it.
Yeah.
Because I don't ever think that anyone's going to get through their training journey without getting a niggle, an ache, or a pain.
Yeah.
I don't think all of it's necessary to like go to a hyper level and try and treat everything with like physiotherapy or whatever. But that being said, it is worth just noting that you are going to get a few niggles.
And it is something you build on over time. Like we talk about building resilience, mental resilience, physical resilience. The body does still get used to these things. I think Google is a wonderful tool and it is fantastic. However, you can type in on Google, I have a pain in my knee. And it is going to give you the possible worst thing on Google. You're like, oh, shit. Now what do I do about this? They'll come see yourself and be like, I went on Google and they said this.
Yeah.
Do you get that quite often?
100%. 100%. I tell people, Google's great for just having a look, but then you delve into that rabbit hole and I've got this. We've had so many in the clinic, so many different things. We've had a chiro or a physio telling one of our patients that his disc was slipped. He had a slip disc. There's no such thing as a slip disc. They don't slip out, and that you could just pop it back in. That's one thing. Genuine. I had somebody that came to me that said they were told they had scoliosis, deviation of the spine which slightly bends, and I was like, okay, do you want me to have a look? And he said, yeah. I said, where's the pain? He goes, I'm not really in any pain. I said, okay. I had a look. He had very, very mild scoliosis. I probably got more scoliosis than most people have. A small proportion of scoliosis, or they're out of a line.
Yeah.
Be out of a line. And I said, no, it's nothing to worry about. It's fine. It's just hardly anything there, And he was like, well, I've been told I'm going to be paralysed. And I was like, who told you that? Never go and see them again. Literally, I was a bit like gobsmacked from the fact that somebody, a professional, had told them that. And I said, no, you'll be absolutely fine. And he was just got on with the day. So much relief there. He thought he was in a situation where he's going to have to do a load of rehab, or something's going to go wrong, and have to have surgery. I said, no, you're absolutely fine, mate.
That's crazy. I want to touch on something you just kind of pointed out there. Now, the whole speak of alignment and body alignment. What are your views on that?
Yeah. Our bodies are held together. All loads of bones put together, held together. You can't be out of alignment. Things are supposed to be out of alignment. We're not symmetrical. We've got dominant sides, stronger sides, bigger sides, smaller sides. This is dropped, that's down. You can't click someone's spine back into alignment. If it was out of alignment, you'd be paralysed. It's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of rubbish going on, and I mean,
I'm so glad you said that, because you know Squat University, right?
Mm-hmm.
On Instagram.
Yeah.
So he obviously shows the videos of people doing like poor or good squat form and then teaches about it. And he said the same thing that you said, is like you're gonna have some slight differences and it's completely fine. He was showing someone doing a squat and one side was hip hitching to the left slightly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people look at that and go, that's a bad squat, you know, because but he was mentioning that as long as there's no pain, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like suddenly correct it.
Yeah.
It might be that that's just the way that you've got strong in, and that might not be a problem.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's bodybuilders out there, there's lifters out there that have got spines that are bent, pelvises are twisted, and they're lifting heavy, they're pain free, and everything. You know, if something is generally causing pain and there's a dysfunction there and there's an injury or something, then it's worth looking at. But if you just go and get an X-ray, or someone scans you or has a look at your pelvis and goes, oh yeah, that's out of a line, or touches your back and goes, yeah, you see your T4 or T5 is, and just nod at them and then come see me.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
What do you
Yeah.
think of those guys on social media, the chiros that put like the loose around people's neck and like click their neck out?
Yeah, no. I mean, it's been shown and proven that the clicks don't really do anything. It's just a noise of the gas being released inside that joint. And a lot of people say, yes, it works. Yes, it does. And I've had, you know, if you rub something, it feels better. You know, I do a lot of sports massage, soft tissue massage, all of that. And again, I never do that on its own, because it would make you feel better. It's very temporary. And you get that with all the manipulations, especially around the neck. Very dangerous around the neck, especially if there's a high velocity twist like that. Don't do it yourself. People have died from it, quite a number of people, from trained chiropractors. And you usually find it's the American chiros that and they'll give you a load of like terminology which the patient has no idea what they're talking about. Then they'll click you and say, oh, that's loads better. And it isn't. It hasn't done anything. It's just made a nice noise. You felt better from that time, and maybe for a couple of days, because it's just moved you. You've moved in positions you've not moved before, so you're going to feel a little bit looser anyway. But yeah, it's work on your strength, your mobility. That's your main stuff to work on. Have a look at dysfunctions, stuff like that. But yeah.
People always talk about clicky joints, and I do want to come on to that a little bit, because I think it'll be good to get some information out there for people. I've had so many clients come in over the years for me. I had one yesterday and be like, my hip always clicks. What for you? You say obviously it is gas coming out the joint, and that is something that we've finally established after years, because there's been so many different myths out there about what it is. But what would you say is for those people? Are their joints always going to click? Is there a solution to this?
So I always say to my patients, my clients, we call them, that come to me, is it a click, is it a grind, or is it a clunk? Because they're different sorts. If it's the you know, when you click your knuckles, that's that little gas pocket that's just been released from the pressure from in and outside that joint. If it's a clunk, usually you might find it's a bony prominence over a tendon or a ligament, or there's some catching there. And if it's a grinding, it could be crepices. We get that a lot with the neck, where we can hear it in ourselves, or it clunk, 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 grinds up. It's the same sort of thing. If it's not causing any pain and it's not restricting any of your movement, it's pretty normal. Yeah. If it's just a click with that joint and it doesn't hurt, then that's fine. You know, you're going to click. As we get older, things wear away, things get inflamed, so we're going to get clicking and grinding and popping. If it becomes painful, if it starts restricting your movement or catching, or you're getting some symptoms from it, like numbness, pins and needles, etc., then it's definitely worth getting checked out. Yeah, go and see a health professional for that.
Yeah.
But it, like I said, with the chiropractic manipulations, it all. I never say to my clients, don't see a chiropractor. I work with a lot of clients that see chiropractors, osteos, and myself, and I work together with them, because I don't think we should ever diss them and what they do. They're generally helping. A lot of good ones will give the exercises, do some soft tissue work, do some manipulations, or they might say, do you know what? You've got some arthritis in there. You've got, you know, I can't do that manipulation. It wouldn't be safe for me to do it. But whatever makes you feel better, even if it's placebo, it kind of like will help you on your journey to recovery. If you think, oh, it just makes me feel so much better, don't waste your money and think you're getting it and they're doing a treatment which is fixing you, which it isn't. But if you go in every now and then because it makes you feel better, if you have a massage because it makes you feel better, if you go and see an osteo, makes you feel better, if you go and see a stretch therapist.
What's that? Sorry?
A stretch therapist.
A stretch therapist.
Yeah.
That sounds like
It is what it is. Someone that stretches you.
It really?
Yeah.
What?
You can go and-
What?
yeah.
I can stretch you now down.
You could. I was going to say we could be stretch therapists.
I'm a stretch therapist. Let's go.
You could
Yeah.
add it in
There you
there.
go. Add that to your CV.
Bloody hell! I
That's an
didn't.
actual thing. Yeah. There's loads of
Matt,
things.
I've stretched clients before, so
Yeah, I find that
Technically.
fascinating. I didn't know that was a thing until now.
No.
I think is that new, or is that just something like
It's
somebody's
been
found another
it's been
job
around
title?
for a while. There's all sorts of things you can get there. All sorts of therapists, stretch therapists, mobility therapists. There's systematic central nerve. There's all sorts of things. There's so many.
So with that
out
being
there.
said, though, like obviously when you came here today, I thought you were a physio based on what I've seen online, etc. And obviously I think you work at the
Jonathan
physiotherapy
Clark
clinic.
Physiotherapy Clinic. Shout out.
Yeah.
Come see us there.
Crack on,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Really, really good.
With that being said, then what's the difference between a physio and a musculoskeletal practitioner?
Practitioner.
So again, it comes down to a lot with your qualification and what you've studied at the university. Because I didn't go to university and do a physiotherapy degree and not got my HCPC license, the health license, then I can't call myself a physiotherapist. However, I do physiotherapy.
Yeah.
I do acupuncture. I've got my certified, trained and accredited acupuncturist. I do taping. I do shockwave therapy, etc. So I do pretty much a lot of what the physiotherapies do. I'm more manual, hands-on, and I take a holistic approach. So it's not just about one thing is right for you. We've got, like I said before, let's have a look at your personal life, what's going on at home, what's going on with your stress, what's going on with your work, how much do you move, how is your food, your diet, etc., etc. So we take a holistical sort of approach to it. The difference is it's just I can't call myself a physiotherapist, but I do physiotherapy work treatment.
I find that fascinating though, because the thing is as well, like what you're doing is similar to that job role. It's title based then, isn't it? It just changes the title. And it's kind of similar like when you go into the personal training space as well. You get like people have S&C qualifications. Fantastic. You know, you can do, you've learned about S&C, but most high level PTs, if you've educated yourself outside of that, you're probably going to end up doing that strength and conditioning side of things anyway, isn't it? Because at the end of the day, it's what you're interested in and want to learn. And that qualification doesn't always seek that boundary level. It just gives you more evidence to back up what you're saying, basically.
Yeah, and in a degree I did as well. I'm not sure if it's the same with you guys, but like we did things like sports conditioning, which is like an S&C style. You're still not qualified as S&C specialist, but you do the same thing that they would do.
Yeah.
You're taught how to like break down a sport, the components of it, how to then build an athlete's ability in all those components. Same thing with sports massage. Did sports massage therapy in uni. Learned loads of techniques. I think PNF was one of them, or that was a stretch, sorry.
Yeah.
And you learn all this, but then when you come into the real world, you're like, great, I can't really use it for the purposes it's designed for.
Yeah.
And so then you have to go further still.
I think that's if you want to focus on an area, so like in physiotherapy and in all sort of medical environment, there's always areas that you can go into, whether it's orthopedic, whether it's cancer, whether it's something like that, and you can train further into it and be more specialised in that area. Pediatrics, another one, you know. So that's sort of the whole generic, but then you can train more in something. You might want to do a sports and remedial massage course to get your level 4 or 5, and then you be more qualified and do more techniques and see more clients, and that helping with range of motion and muscle recovery, etc. So it's always really, I think, what you have an interest in as well. Where you want to go, which lines you want to go. There's so much to do.
So what was your interest? Was it this the injury route? Was it because that's something that happened to you? Or?
Do you know what? I've always been interested in the health, the body, the muscles, how the body works. And I thought it was remarkable that we're born and we have no idea of how our body works. And injuries as well as illnesses and stuff like that. And we rely on doctors and everyone else to do the research, to do the training, to do years of education and everything to tell us what's wrong with ourselves. And it's a minefield. Some things it might be one thing, but it could be a whole lot of other things. And we take no responsibility, and we take no emphasis on ourselves to learn about ourselves and our body and what it could be. if you think about it, we should be born with like a blueprint in how it all works. And that's got me into like the health and the fitness and the gym and the training and everything else. And then I sort of realized how it was helping people. And then I really enjoyed seeing people get better and giving them some understanding and helping them through their life journey, whether it's through pain, emotional state, mental state. And then that became my purpose in life. So my purpose in life is to help somebody in any way I can, whether it's emotional, mental or physical, with their pain in life. And if I've done that, I've fulfilled my purpose in life. That's a big, I've never really told anyone.
I love that.
That's my purpose in life. So I can die knowing that every day I fulfilled my purpose in life. Otherwise, for me, it's what's the point of living if you haven't got a purpose, if you're just living to live, you know?
And to be fair, I mean, I've followed you for a while now on social media. It's probably about a decade at this point.
Yeah.
And like, you do seem to embody that. It's not just you saying this right now, but you're always having fun, doing cool stuff. You're still fit and healthy.
That's it.
I think you enjoy a couple of drinks now and then as well.
Well, I used to. I used to be a bit of a binge drink. I haven't drunk now for about 14, 15 months. So I'm teetotal.
Wow.
I don't drink.
Okay.
Don't drink, don't smoke. Just trying to keep. I'm getting older. It's hurting. So yeah, I don't drink anymore. So it's a great thing to do. And a lot of people, and I got inspiration from doing that from clients of mine and people that I know in the industry as well, and they haven't done it. I was like, do you know what? He's pretty cool and he's not drinking. And I started feeling the pains and the ailments and the negative points that came from drinking, not just the anxiousness and the suicidal thoughts like the next 3-4 days, but it's just like, and my mind frame being content within myself and the pains I've been getting have definitely reduced and a lot less now, and I'm just such a more positive person. But like you were saying about my social media, that's exactly it. I just want to make people happy. I do a Ricky's rant thing. I put food stuff. It's all light-hearted. It's all supposed to be fun. And I get lots of messages from people, private messages as well, because some people don't want to comment on the stuff and say, do you know what? That's exactly how I felt. This is exactly what I've done, or I didn't want to be this. I thought it was just me. And a lot of people say, no, keep doing it. It makes me laugh. I've had some people in Bali that live in Bali that say, I sit down at the end of the night and read my son a story to go to bed, and we look at your videos because they're just really fun.
That's amazing.
And it's just like you don't know that happens.
No.
Yeah.
And it's only if people tell you. So yeah, if I can spread some positive, just enjoyment in the world, help people in any way I can, that's great. And it gets me out because I'm chatting to people and people see it and I get messages, which makes me feel great within myself as well.
Apologies for interrupting the podcast. We know you're getting fully engrossed into this episode, and we really appreciate you stopping on the video on YouTube or on Spotify if you found us through one of the search pages. Make sure to leave a review and a subscription if you haven't already. But we just wanted to interject a point here that me and Nick have 15 years of coaching experience between us, and it's only getting better as we've got better guests on the podcast. The only way we can do that, though, is with the growth of our program that we've just released. We've got a 12-month PerformWell program, which has just dropped, and we'd love you guys to get involved in it. If you want to learn more details, make sure to head to the description, as we've got our website in there, which can give you a full overlay of the program. We're looking to help career-driven professionals, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and anyone dominate their life by improving their lifestyle. Me and Nick like to claim ourselves as experts in this area, and if you want to check out some of our other transformations, I'm sure you do. We've got some amazing people who have performed so well off the back of this program. Have a cracking day, and we really appreciate your time. Let's get back to the podcast. I think that's fantastic, and it works into the kind of like the core root of things too, of what you believe in and what you drive forward, because I always kind of have this philosophy that everything in life is a pulling force, not a pushing force. You're not pushed into the things you want to do, you're pulled into them by actions that you take. And the same thing for myself, like my big purpose in life is to listen and learn so I may help those that don't have the belief to achieve the things they want to believe, because there's nothing more. I had a girl come into my classes and into my personal training in the last like 6 months. And she turned around to me and she was in such a bad emotional state when she came into me. Everything was negative. Everything was negative about her. Her goals weren't positive goals. They were like, I don't want to be this. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be this. 6 months down the line, she said, this is the one time I believed in myself. And that's awesome. The biggest thing that ever happens for me as a PT and coach. Like someone saying they actually believe in themselves. She's like, she hasn't lost the weight she wanted to, but she believes she can do it. And I keep saying to her, I said, you know how to do it. You can do it. And she's like, I always just appreciate that you're there one time a week for an hour. And I just say to her, I'm like, you can do it. No matter what, you can do it. And
That's
that
nice.
is what pulls me towards my
Yeah.
job every time.
Changing the mindset, and then everything can come with that. So you might have, even though she hadn't maybe gone on that journey yet, physically wise, you've changed the mental mindset, which could have a massive impact on her mental state in due course. I often make a joke and I say, oh, I'm got to go to work, I'm saving lives, saving lives left, right and centre. And it's a bit of a joke. But we have had people that have written in and we have actually saved their life. They were going to, commit suicide. There was actually a letter from the GP and stuff like that. So there's people there at the clinic, I say it myself, and you think if you change someone's mindset and you change someone and makes them feel just positive, just happier, you could down the line be doing something remarkable.
Mate, so many people come to you at the start of their journey, and they obviously don't like where they're at, which is why 9 times out of 10 they're with you trying to resolve it. And mentally, they just can't accept what they look like in the mirror or how they feel about themselves. And it's like 6 months down the line, they change their body, they look drastically different, they feel drastically different, but they still have that same mentality. And it's like, I tell people that at the beginning, you need to accept that where you're at is where you're at. Because if you do this for 6 months, you're still going to feel the same way you do now, regardless of how your body looks, unless you get down to this root cause first and start just accepting who you are. Self-acceptance is probably the most difficult thing, I think, for a lot of people to actually try and do, but it makes the biggest difference in the long term.
Oh, for sure, 100%. I feel like I always say, you've got to pull the weeds out before you can plant the garden. And I think that's one of the most valuable things I've ever taught myself. You've got to get to the deep-rooted problem of why you're sitting in that position. I've said it to you about business many a time. I'm a baby in business, a massive baby in business. I don't understand most things, but I accept the processes to learn. I accept that I'm not where I want to be now, but everything that I ask question-wise is going to get me further forward down the line. I can take on the 5 years of experience I've had as a PT and say, I'm a good coach and do all those kind of things, but for me, how I feel in business is probably how a lot of people feel watching this video or watching any of the clips that we put out, that they don't feel sufficient enough to give the kind of confounding belief in themselves to pull themselves forwards. But it is there, and I know it's there. No matter, and that's what keep chipping away. You keep chipping away every single day. And I've had people message me this week, clients of mine, saying about low motivation. And I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm not going to be that coach that says motivation doesn't matter, because I think it matters quite a lot to people starting their journey. Hell yeah, it matters a lot. They're not us. They haven't got this inner self-discipline to do X, Y, Z. They need us to teach them inner self-discipline. For yourself, Ricky, as well, for clients that you've worked with over the years, how would you say kind of the transformative effect that you have on people's lives have then kind of led you forward in the business decisions you've made, or other kind of choices that you made in life? So, for example, you've had a client and you've changed their life. It's made you go, actually, I could do something more here with this. That makes sense?
Yeah. I'm always thinking, what other routes could I take? Where could I go down? I don't know. I'm in a really good place at the moment where I'm really content with what I'm doing, how I'm doing, and what I'm doing, helping people. There's definitely always more you can do. I don't want to overcomplicate things. Being content with yourself as well, and not putting anything that you take pressure-wise or stress-wise onto other people, I think is really, really important. But yeah, tricky one.
Yeah, there is always more. We're always trying to find these in-depth solutions to kind of problems that we get with the client, and you always get new things crop up. You think, I could do a class for that, or I could do a run club to help people with their cardiovascular fitness, or getting women out running in the dark during winter months. You're always thinking about the things you can do, but I think there's always a base level of I can't do everything. That's it. I've got to try and find a way through it.
I'm always I think doing lots of reading and lots of research and always helps, and kind of not trying to delve into what you see on social media, what the newest fad is. I think then you're just being developed into that, and you can't give an educated or a professional, response to somebody. We do training consistently at the clinic I work out, at Jonathan Clark Physiotherapy, and we often go up and do CPD sessions and training with other people and other stuff. I think that's vital, keeping up to date with research, keeping up to date and stuff, and not trying to. I see so much stuff come up on social media as well, I try not to flick through, like you were saying about the dopamine. It's just there. So that's what it is. It's just constantly flicking. And I often don't comment or don't say anything because it will affect my mental health as well. And it just, other people will see stuff. And it's like when we went back to the beginning about any sorts of activity or exercise or anything like that is good. If you get just somebody up and everyone's on their own journey, like your client there on their journey to get fit or whatever, it's their journey, their goal, and their journey is different to somebody else's. We're all individual, and giving them that positive little bite-sized goals every time they hit it, it's going to make them feel great, even though it might be something totally different to you or the next person we come across. So yeah, keep on top of it all, and giving the best information and help you can. It's always
Mate, I fucking love that.
Yeah. Oh, I want to ask one more question before we kind of go for the rapid fire round. For you, Ricky, as well, I think we delved a little bit kind of into the more emotive side of yourself too, which I think is important. For you along the journey, since you came into the health and well-being and fitness space, what has been one of the biggest struggles that you've had to get yourself into the next month or the next month or the next month?
I'd say there's a lot of all the misinformation out there, and people will just jump on social media and read that, and that's it. Whether it might not be right, it might not be the right exercise for them, you know. And also, I mean, this is a massive thing that's come up now with the old Ozempic drug, and I call it the marijuana drug because I can't pronounce it every time. What's it called?
Ozempic?
No, yeah, the other one.
Oh, Manjaro.
Manjaro,
Yeah.
that's it. Marijuana. Don't know what that is.
Manjaro.
Manjaro, yeah.
Yeah, and do you know what? In the right circumstances, it's absolutely great. And I think you know, for the medical condition that it's used for, it can help. But it's kind of, and I have so many clients who are not overweight that have taken it as well. When I say overweight, they might be a little bit overweight, but they're not obese. They're not got a very high BMI, or they haven't got a medical condition like diabetes or anything like that. And they're jumping on it, and I feel like sometimes, and you might guys feel this, that we're fighting a losing battle, that we're trying to promote this healthy lifestyle, this fitness, eating right, and just getting the basics right. And, you know, if you see somebody and they're overweight and, you know, and you want to help them, you can give them some basics to start with. But now there's just a drug that people can just take. And get off the
short-term fix, mate. Everyone wants a short-term fix.
Yeah.
No one wants to work for it.
Quick fix,
yeah,
short-term fix, and you know you can't get these from England; they're getting it from abroad.
It's human nature, though. You're never going to change human nature.
Yeah.
Like I told you about the sex appeal earlier. Like that's human nature. It's the same thing with this. People want the shortest and easiest way to get something.
Yeah,
and I mean that drug. I mean, my opinion on it is like I think it's great for people that are obese and it gets them started for sure. But there's a lot of people that are not obese that are taking it.
Yeah,
trying to lose 20 pounds before summer, and it's like, and then they're massively sick because of it. Like they're getting like stomach upsets, they're puking a lot, they're not able to eat, muscle mass is deteriorating. Yep. They do lose fat, they do lose muscle, they look worse than before. And then when they do come off the drug, they then go back onto a massive kind of craving period where they start eating more food than they were before. And then they put it all back on again. And it's like those people need to be taught differently because, you know, there are obese people that generally got heart disease, could die if they don't lose weight.
Yeah.
And I think those people would benefit greatly from that drug if it helps just to get them started.
And making sure that those that are on it, whether they should be on it or shouldn't be on it, whatever, that they're taking the right protocols in place. They're doing their strength training, resistance training, lifting weights to stop them from getting osteoporosis or brittle bones, which is one of the symptoms from it. And working on their food and diet and their relationship with food as well, and how to get the things in place for when they do come off it. And just we don't know the long-term effects.
No,
I'll tell you.
We don't know what's going to happen in 10 years' time.
Yeah, true.
Sometimes it's hard to know when someone's finished, mate.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, Ricky. Just going on to, obviously, we were talking about getting onto the rapid fire rounds. Yeah. So we've got a few questions that we want to ask you. Throw them at you. Before we get into that, obviously, what's one underrated fitness or health tip that you think more people should pay attention to?
I think we need to concentrate on our health more than our fitness. That's one thing. I think I wrote this down. I think a big thing is your NEAT. You know, your non-exercise activities. Because so for those that don't know, it's basically the energy that you use by just doing your normal, general, day-to-day movements and activities, going up the stairs, walking up and down, the stairs rather than the escalators, or just going to the shop, or just, you know, getting in and out of a car seat, chair, whatever you do, rather than an actual activity or an actual exercise. And I think I have a lot of clients that I train as well, and a lot of my training is more sort of physio-based training, strength and conditioning for an injury or a rehab, and they do the training, and they think they're seeing a PT and they're doing their training and they're great. I train 3 times a week at the PT, but they don't do anything else, and the rest of their job is sat down in front of a computer. You know, work on moving more, work on your health. I think that's what we need to focus on more.
It's funny you mentioned that, because at the moment we've got a step challenge, haven't we? Group?
Yeah, we are.
And everyone's like, for the first time, someone said the other day that they normally would do 3,000 or 4,000, but because of the step challenge, they ended up doing 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is exactly what people need. They need a little push to get it moving. It does help, obviously.
Having nice weather
right now is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I will say, I decided on a brutal target. I should have never gone for 100,000 steps. I'm a stupid boy for doing that.
For those that aren't in the UK, obviously, like, you know, just so you know, 9 months of the year, maybe 11, maybe 10. It's grey, miserable most of the time. And then recently we've had probably the nicest weather I've seen in ages. It feels like I haven't seen the sun in about 6 months.
And now it's all come at once.
Feels like a year, doesn't it?
Yeah, it genuinely does.
I've been popping vitamin D tablets. The sun's out. Don't need you anymore.
It goes straight back in the pot.
Do you know what happened, right? Like last week, I was doing bench press, and I did 110, right? And I was doing 110 for 2 reps.
Yeah, nice.
No, this is lower. This is lower than I normally do. So last week was really shit. And then it started getting sunnier. After a couple of days, I felt amazing. And I was like, why do I feel so good? Went to the gym this week, and I lifted 120 for 4 out of nowhere. And I'm like, what's changed? Because I'm cutting. Strength can't go up when my weight is going down so drastically. But then it was the sun. I kept thinking about sky was obviously quite sunny, vitamin D exposure, testosterone production, all of the benefits of it, the mood benefits. And it really does make a difference. Like, I think if I lived in Spain, I think I'd probably be much more jacked than I am now.
You'd probably be repping like
that would be the
10 reps of 180. Yeah,
you got to move, my friend.
I'm going to Spain.
I was surprised by that.
What was your reason for moving my bench press? That is why.
But it is good. I love the sun.
Talking of exercises, though, Ricky, what is one exercise that you think is overrated?
It's tricky, isn't it? Because all exercises are exercise, they're movements. What do I think is overrated? Stairmaster, maybe.
Okay. What makes you say that?
People go on that because they want to build their glutes, but it doesn't really build your glutes. It depends what you're using it for, isn't it?
Yeah, you've seen the way they do it as well. It's not just walking off it. It's like they walk up one leg, push up behind them,
backwards,
side steps,
another one. Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
But do you know what? It's a form of exercise. It's a movement. So if you're doing it, you're doing it.
Yep.
What else is overrated? I don't know. Probably that one. There's lots that we could say, but it's all, relative to that person.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Well, if you could only do one workout style for the rest of your life, nothing else, what would it be?
Oh, I don't know. So I'd want to do something that incorporates a lot of functional movements. Mm-hmm. So from what we were talking earlier, probably something like high rocks.
Okay.
High rocks you've got the fitness endurance, it's functional movements, it's you've got some weighted movements as well. And like we were talking about earlier, they'll probably change the different events and the different exercises. So yeah, and it keeps you moving. I'm really an advocate of moving within your full range, squatting low, lunges forward, jumping down, burpees. I watched I know this is delving out here, but
fun.
There was a video or something I saw the other day about, it was within the fitness industry, and about burpees, and someone was really dissing burpees or burpee jumps and stuff like that, saying they're absolutely useless. No one likes to do a burpee, they're horrible, but you think about the range of motion you move to and how much of all your body's involved in it. And, why would you ever want to do a burpee? And it was a video of a lady pushing a pram. She was a bit overweight, I'll give her that. And she tripped and fell and the pram was slightly downhill, and the pram started going away from her downhill, and she was trying to get up, but she didn't have the strength or mobility or capacity to get up quick enough. And every time, because she was hurrying it, she was getting up, she kept tripping and falling over and never fully got up. End of the story. Don't worry, the pram was fine. Someone saw it and caught the pram, but she wouldn't have gotten anywhere near it. If she could do a burpee,
She'd be able to get back
she'd
up.
be able to spring back
I've
up.
seen that video.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It just
She
kind of makes you
really
think.
struggles.
Yeah. You kind of think, how can you struggle if you can do a burpee and you can do a press up and get up off the floor like that? And you think, how can someone struggle to get up onto your feet?
I know.
But it's not just about strength; it's mobility, strength, proprioception, balance, and everything comes into it. So, high rocks, love it or hate it. It's functional.
Good
it
shout.
moves.
Good
And
shout.
I'm getting older now,
I
so
thought you would have said CrossFit for a moment.
Basically
do you know
same thing,
what?
innit?
But then there's a thing with CrossFit, isn't there? A bit of a culture.
So I've done some CrossFit training taster sessions. The reason why I don't do CrossFit and I can't do CrossFit, although I've trained for high rocks, is because I've got OA, arthritic shoulders. I've literally just been to the hospital today to see the surgeon there, and we're looking to get new shoulder replacements. That's how bad they are. So I can't really do anything over here.
Yeah, I was going to say, so is your overhead mobility really, really
Range of
limited
motion,
then?
absolute rubbish. Pain consistently every day.
How does that happen?
We think it's most likely due to, I used to be hypermobile in my shoulders when I was a young age, and a competitive swimmer. I swam for England.
Wow.
So I was swimming, 8 times a week in the pool. At the weekends, it was always galas or meets and training camps, and it's that. And it wasn't swimming for fitness or just to get a few lengths in. It was for time. So it's a lot of rotation and a lot of stress through that joint while I was hypermobile. And then I stopped at about 17 years old and started lifting weights and playing rugby and not doing any mobility.
Well, rugby's
stretching.
definitely not going to help that
So
situation.
You've gone from one end to the other end of the spectrum there, whereas it's kind of this or
extreme.
this.
Yeah. Anything we do, this is the thing with fitness and health. This is really, really important. People know that that's why the longevity of a sport in the elite athletes and sportsmen is quite short, because we get good at something, we enjoy it, and then we do more of it and do more of it. And then we think, oh, hold on, I'm getting quite good at this. And then we compete in it. And then it becomes a sport that we're getting competitive in. And we're not just doing, general fitness and exercise and stuff. Now we're doing it competitively all the time. And that's why you'd see lots of footballers with knee and ankle injuries, swimmers with shoulder injuries, rugby players with every injury.
I feel like
and in CrossFit is with every injury.
they basically need a plaster for everything. I
They've
will
got shoulder
say
injuries actually a lot,
they do. I mean, I've been getting into triathlons quite a lot recently. I'm going to hopefully do the Bournemouth International, which is quite cool. But since I've started doing that, and I've since like running, cycling, swimming more, and to like pacing, like I want to do well in these things.
Yeah.
I'm overly competitive, cannot lie. I've noticed I get a little bit more knee pain. My knee doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
My shoulder doesn't feel the same.
And how old are you?
26.
Oh,
I will say I
worse.
am quite an injury prone. I come from an injury prone family. Like my brother will always have some kind of injury in his shoulder, but he, as I said, similar we're saying, he sits out in a desk all day doing estate agent work.
Yeah.
Doesn't really like mobile. He's not going to be doing this much. He's this. So it is that kind of like.
That's the reason why I used to do loads of cardio when I was younger, and like as I've got older, I've decided that cardio only causes more problems than it solves, whereas strength training seems to not cause the same issues for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I used to be a really good runner. Like I was brilliant at it, and I love doing it. Like there's something about running long distance that is actually quite fun, which I don't think a lot of people understand, except for those that run long. And but the problem is, I've got crepitus in my, or at least I was told it's crepitus in my left knee. Get a little bit of pain there and a little bit of grating. And that's only been getting worse over the years. It's never going to fully disappear. It's always that long distance cardio that brings it back again and again and again.
It's probably it's not necessarily the long distance cardio. It's more the impact on it, the wear and the stress through it. And if we've got an injury there, and I say to all the runners that I see, we don't want to stop you running. There's always stuff we can do, but a lot of people don't do the strength and conditioning for the running, which will help with it. But I start running now. I do like 5 and did a 10k the other day. But I feel my need
Yeah,
to.
you just
But it's all about adapting and just doing what your body and you are capable of doing. Don't overdo it. Listen to your body. Take it back. same with all my clients that got shin splints and Achilles tendinopathies or whatever. Let's get you through it. Let's try not to stop totally, but if we can get you through it and get you doing strength and conditioning with it and build it up. But when you tell somebody,
None of them get shin splints anymore. That's for sure.
got
past that phase, thank God. But
same with me.
Yeah.
We're going to round off on one more question for you very, very quickly. So what is the weirdest fitness trend you've seen online?
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking about this one. I was thinking, is it goat yoga? Now the one you told me about at the beginning. What was the one that?
Oh, the neon
like
dancing.
bungee jumping.
Yeah.
It's got to be. Have you met? I think I've shared this one. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's that when I don't know how to explain it without being. It looks like they're doing cowgirl sex.
Oh, reverse cowgirl.
You know, they're just and they're like they're having an orgasm and just. Gyrating their hips while in a kneeling position. Have you not seen it? They do. No. It's like some tantric karma. It's not even that. It's just it's a girl in her leggings and the top. She's kneeling and she's just gyrating on the floor and doing all this.
Is she filming it for social media by any chance?
It's a class.
It's a class. Yeah. Look at me.
Yeah. You want the address?
Yeah, I was going to say, is that around here?
No, I don't think
I was going to say, it was like for a minute, is it
I
local?
wouldn't be surprised if there's one round here.
No.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
but that's
Portsmouth
what
thing,
I saw and I was just like, what the dickens is going on here? No, it kind of made me just slap my face. I give up. I give up.
I mean, it sounds like an
Get me
80s
off
class with
this
John
road.
Travolta. Sounds like Grease.
Yeah.
You know, when they're like wearing the really tight shorts and the what the girls used to wear, leotards, and they're like doing the whole gyrating thing on the 80s show.
Yeah.
Do
you remember Grease, the dance?
film?
Yeah, do you remember the little dance off they did? And like they do it like
at the end.
There's a meme with John Travolta and he's like, is it Grease?
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
They're like proper thrusting their hips, like that kind of class, and it's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
It's more sexual. Basically, they're basically just doing what you would do. They're like having an orgasm, but doing cowgirl on the floor.
And that is the class.
And
I'll be interested what the name of this class is.
I think
like,
they get on the floor and start. They're just.
is it like interpretive dance, basically? Then
have a look.
Sounds like
Google it.
I'll Google it after this.
Search history.
I don't
Sorry,
want my
Al.
algorithm flooded with that, mate.
It's just those sort of things. I mean, they're ridiculous.
They're crazy. I think we'll round up there, though, Ricky. We
nice
really
one.
appreciate you coming on, and we want our listeners to find out where you are. So plug away. Let them know where they can find out more about you.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be on here. So socials, Ricky Attfield. What is my
Ricky Attfield _fitness.
Yeah, it's my Instagram. Ricky Attfield Massage and Fitness is my Facebook page. Or just check me out, Ricky Attfield, on my Instagram. You'll just see a lot of fun stuff. Me ranting, me being fun, and just maybe even doing some cooking videos. I do a lot of cooking stuff. I love my food as well. So just good nutritional food as well, which tastes good. Just come and give me a shout.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Yeah,
It's been wonderful.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure too.
It's a cracking
Nice to be
podcast.
here.
Right. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate Ricky being here, and we make sure that you like, follow, subscribe, and also give us a nice review if you're over on Spotify too. We're growing the podcast so much, and we get more amazing guests like Ricky on as well. So make sure if you want to see someone on here, give us a cheeky comment, let us know, and then we'll catch you guys later.
Peace.
Ciao.